Are you okay?
I'm fine.
You gonna make it?
Probably.
Was it ducking under the table?
So it was like my Yes. I died for
Quan Hilding.
Evan, I sat in coffee. Did you actually sit? Yes!
Okay, for this game, I'm going to the girls over here and the boys over here. I want to get close. Okay? What? Yeah!
Hey, Dan, I might cut your shoe out.
Does anybody else need a bibble?
Hey, go sit down.
Does anybody else
Girls
need a
over
Bible?
here, boys over here. Go.
Josh, I sat in coffee.
Go.
I sat in coffee.
Coffee? What's coffee?
Boys over here, have a seat. Boys over here, have a seat. Jack, oh, my puppet. Jack.
Oh, guys, over there.
Jack. All right, boys over here. There's a ton of girls here. All right, have a seat. Sit down. Sit down. I need someone to keep time who's got like a stopwatch function on your phone. Okay. And I need you to pause it, not stop it. So you can go and then pause. Go. Okay, someone over on the guy's side, if you got a phone with a stopwatch function, go pause, go pause, go pause. Okay. All right. So I need girls more on this side.
Up there. Yeah, up there. Up there. We're not going to say it again. Up there.
Okay, you have to be over here. Over here. Trust me, it's going to be good. You can join the seventh graders. It's okay. All right.
Over this way, not on the wall.
So we're going to play a little game of charades. And on my cards that I have that your team will randomly draw is, well, it's a mascot of a local elementary school. Okay? So, if your elementary school mascot was the Fighting Falcons, then your representative might draw that card, and they will have to act out a Fighting Falcon, like. Okay? So, no one's a Fighting Falcon, I don't think, in the local school district. So these are very, hopefully, common things to act out. Some are more difficult than others, but that's your hint. So as you're guessing, you're actually guessing a local elementary school mascot. Okay, so that's a huge hint. Just keep that in mind. Once I hear that mascot, we'll stop the time, and whoever I heard guess that, or someone near them, who might be having a difficult time picking that out, we'll be able to get an extra point by guessing which school that mascot goes with. Okay? So you got to dig back and remember where you went to elementary school. All right? That's the bottom line. Can you all do that? And what your mascot was. So if you never played any team stuff, maybe that's hard. I don't know. All right. So the boys won. You got to go first or second? Alright, I heard second. So girls, you're going to go first. I think you should start with a small group leader acting this out for you. Right? Emily, I think that's a great pick.
Did you betray me?
Alright. So timekeeper, you're going to start as soon as I say go. Pause when I say stop. Okay? Alright. This is what you're going to be acting out. Random selection. Don't show anybody. Okay. Alright, this is a local elementary school mascot. Alright, are you ready? Alright, you can guess whatever you want. I have to hear it. When I hear it, I'm going to say pause. Okay? Alright, ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Pause. Alright, I heard it over here first. Now, you get an extra point. Which elementary school?
I know.
No, just you, just you. Which elementary school is the Huskies? Okay. Harrison. Yes, it is Harrison. Good job. So, girls get an extra point. All right, keep that time. Keep that time for next time. Good job, Emily. Let's give Emily a hand. All right, guys. I think we should start with our small group leader. Pause the time. Don't stop it. Okay, are you ready?
Can I speak?
No, but you can make noises. You cannot speak, but you can make noises. That's a really good question. And especially funny noises. We like funny noises. So that's what we really want. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3, go.
Lion.
Dog.
What is it?
Oh, come on.
It's a dog. Wait. A bull tiger?
Tigers.
Lion.
Bulldog.
Lincoln Lions.
What? An eagle.
Okay, pause. Okay.
Hold on.
Bulldog. All right.
They're like 7
Now, you got that one? All right, which area elementary school mascot is the bulldog?
There is no bull.
There is. It's Mentone. Mentone is the bulldog. Who went to Mentone? Did you know this? Thank you, Mike. Okay. All right. Okay, girls, who's next? This is a tough one.
How do you do a bulldog? See? Exactly. Any different than what he did. Yeah.
I have the answer.
All right, okay, I'll have it. It's okay. You don't have to. All you have to do is act this out. All right, timekeeper ready? All right, go. All right, do you know which elementary school? Yes, very good.
Sweet bulldogs.
I was like, well, someone lost their arms and they got tired. I have a
You can make sound effects. I heard a few words. Which school? Lincoln Lions. Very good. Lincoln Lions is correct. Okay, this is a hard one, but I think you guys can.
Oh my god.
You can do this. You can do this.
Ow!
Alright. Go.
Bulldogs. Huskies.
Retriever.
Coyote. Gorilla. Dogs.
You're on the right track. Think local.
Do something else.
Yes! Alright, this is a hard one. This is a difficult one. Alright. Who's got time? Ready? Go.
Oh my god.
Oh,
I know this.
a jaguar. Shoot, crocodile.
Go stop. Okay, they got it? Okay. Alright. Who guessed it? Who guessed it? Oh, this area. Okay. What elementary school is the Blue Blazers? Leesburg is correct. Good job. Good job. Blue Blazers. Okay. Boys. Don't go yet. Wait till I say go. Wait till I say go. This is not that hard. Get up. I'm Robert said. Go. Start time. It's a hornet from Washington. Good job. All right.
Give me my hoodie.
All right, girls. This is the last round. All right, we ready on time? Go. Carlos, I heard it. Where are the Cardinals from?
I'm not even that smart for that.
Let's say no to you. It's no. And are you ready for this? Sure.
Let's go.
All right, 19.52 for the girls. All right, boys, I need a yes.
We learned about 40 or 19.5.
We'll take 3 seconds off the 40-ish seconds for the boys. And that means the girls win. Good job, girls. Alright, here's what I need you to do. If you didn't bring a Bible with you, I need you to grab a Bible off the shelf. Girls, you can resume your normal spots. Boys, you can back in front. Good job, ladies. Good job, guys. The other team.
Yeah, girls. Hey, girls, pick up your stuff.
Okay, I got emails once we kind of get settled. Alright, awesome. Thank you guys. So, a few things just to mention here for a couple minutes. Give me your attention. First of all, I need all the puppets back. If I could have the door for the squirrel back. Thank you. Anybody else have a little mascot? So here's the deal with those. Part of your small group time, your small group leader is going to grab one of those. No, put it down. Put it down. Small group leaders are going to take one of those out to your small group time. It plays a little bit of a role in your small group discussion. And who doesn't love puppets, right? Everybody loves puppets. So you're going to be utilizing those a little bit later. Also, so small group leaders, something to keep in mind, there are some snacks, again, for every small group back there. I see 4 boxes. We have 5 small groups, so we might need to divvy things up a little bit there as we go. That's okay. So those are from, if I get this right, I think Anna's grandma's small group. Am I right on that one? I think I'm right on that one. Okay. Sorry, you were there. Alright, so just to let you guys know, there's other people here in this church that love you guys, that pray for you guys, that think about you guys, and you don't even know it. But they wanted to just say, hey, thank you guys for what you do. Thanks for studying the Word, putting that in practice. And so that's just a little bit of an encouragement from folks that you probably don't know. Anna probably doesn't. But just a word of encouragement, a tangible gift of encouragement for you guys. Wanted you guys to receive that. And so small group leaders as well. This isn't in your small group leader notes, but if you want to go over some fond memories, or at least vivid memories of the schools represented this evening by our attire, you can mention that too. So some of you guys are wearing like your current school stuff right now, which is great. Some of you guys have those elementary schools that we just mentioned represented. I've got my old high school from Fort Wayne, the Concordia Cadets representing today. So thanks for remembering to wear attire from schools. How many of you guys are wearing attire from the school you want to go to, or like a teacher school or something like that?
What?
Yeah, for you guys. Okay. Wait, why do you have your hand up? You have a tie as your tie.
It says Indiana Wesleyan.
I never even noticed that. I just saw the tie dye, but all right. So here's what you're going to do. If you guys wore school attire, come up here. You can take.
It's called right under my name. I have
You can take 2 things of candy. I'm going to start with the girls. And then work the way to the guys.
I have something that's just natural. I have something, Ryan.
I'll give you
Ryan, I don't want to get up.
Look, I have something. See? It's a tiger. That's all I have. This is all I had that was
Okay, guys. All right, guys.
Hey,
Yeah, get over here. Go to the games of school. Yeah,
This is an old jersey from my current school.
that's fine. That's fine. It counts. You know, school.
I know it does. I just wanted to
Wait, you got A school. Okay. I'm a little busy right now. What? Queen is not at school.
This is taking forever. Let's go.
where should you never take dogs?
I was just thinking, you guys aren't wild enough. Let's let you guys see.
Give me my candy back then. Give me that back right now.
All right, hurry up. Okay. Everybody, all right? Okay. So thanks for playing along with our series, our Not a Fan series that we've got. Appreciate your school spirit, supporting schools. You should know that your small group leaders and Aaron and I and Gideon, we all support you guys and where you guys go. You'll see us out there from time to time. If you haven't yet, stay tuned. We will be out there. But yeah, thanks for representing those schools tonight. A couple other announcements that are on your half sheet of paper. I want you guys to take these home. So December 2nd, just something to remember, that is a Friday night from 4 to 11 p.m. So a long stretch of time, we have our game night out here. So we got everyone invited, middle school, high school, guys, girls. We're going to have, obviously tons of video games, lots of other games happening out here. Might show a movie or two as well during our time. But come out here, hang out. We're going to do lots of prize giveaways. Probably a little bit later on in the evening, we'll get some tournaments going on for some extra chances to win those. You get lots of active stuff happening out here. I think we kind of need that break out here to just hang out together. We're going to ask you guys to bring $5, and on the middle school side, a snack this year. High schoolers would bring something to drink. But that $5 just helps us to buy our food that is in addition to the snacks that you guys bring. We're planning on getting a pizza dinner around 7 o'clock. So regardless of when you guys come out, and you do not need to be here the whole time, you can be, but you certainly do not need to be. You can do the early shift or the later shift, just kind of figure that out around your other scheduled things that you got. But 7 to 8, we're going to get some dinner together, and we're going to split up guys and girls. And so 8th graders know what's coming. All right, 7th graders, I don't want to ambush you too much, but there's a conversation we have to have every year, okay? A conversation that is absolutely critical to our faith and knowing the society around us. Yes, we do have to talk about issues with pornography, our sexual convictions as Christians. Those are things that are important to check up on and make sure that we continue to talk about as a youth group. So I don't know of an easier way to say that, but this is kind of like a neat way to go and have some fun and then take a little bit of a break to talk about those things that are absolutely vital to each and every one of you, each and every one of us. So we're going to go over those things. That talk is going to be after we get dinner around 7 o'clock, so we'll split up guys and girls for that. But absolutely vital, and we need you guys out here. We need you to hear that stuff. We need you guys to kind of go back through the Word and find out what God says to us about the gifts that we have and how to properly use those. And I think that's an important discussion. I hope that you guys make that important. So be ready for that, I suppose. But 7 to 8 p.m. is kind of like the business time of that evening. Plan on joining us for the evening around that 7 to 8 period of time. December 4th is... well, it's going to be a host home night for us. So every now and then during the youth group year, we'll take some time, and instead of meeting here at WCC, we'll scatter and meet at host homes in the area. So each small group will meet at a different host home. So these are folks that have opened their home to us. They just kind of have a place for us to gather, maybe some food for us to eat while we're talking about a subject that we can kind of dig a little bit deeper into as a small group. So We are asking for a couple more host homes to be available. So if you have a house nearby that you think your parents would be willing to offer as a meeting spot for December 4th, just want them to let me know. We would appreciate that. We have a couple already lined up. We just need 2 or 3 more to accommodate our 5 groups out here. So if you would like to offer that home up, make sure you obviously check with your parents and have them contact me. But we need people that are kind of nearby, not people that live a half hour away. Love that you guys are out here tonight, but we need to keep it kind of close by the church here for that. We do need a good meeting space for your entire group there, and we are asking just to provide a snack, or if they can't do that, I can probably drop something off earlier in the day too, but we just like to have some goodies for your small groups. The rest of you guys, if you're not opening up your home to a small group, we need you to travel to that location, and we'll give you details on that next week where every group is meeting. So we got to finalize those locations this week here. So I appreciate you just kind of sharing this with your parents, and some of them will volunteer to have your group meet at their space. We appreciate that. So make sure you pass this along. I think that's about it. So tonight, Gideon's going to be sharing the message. We're continuing on in our Not a Fan series, and we'll be wrapping that up here really, really soon. So Gideon, thanks for sharing. Let's welcome him up here.
So, past few weeks we've been doing our Not a Fan series. Our first week we talked about how being more than just a fan is, as a follower, is taking Jesus everywhere we go, and then using him in our everyday lives. And then last week with Coach Brunbaugh talked about how we have to be followers even when it's difficult, and that as followers, Jesus has invited us into a relationship with him, whereas fans, like celebrities, don't do that. Like, we're getting invited to be with him and have that relationship instead of just kind of seeing him from a distance. Today, though, we're going to be talking about how, as followers, we are to let Jesus do what Jesus does. Like, Jesus is going to do what he is. We're not supposed to come at him with expectations. But, all right. So like, as fans, when we're a fan of something, we tend to come at them with expectations. So I want you guys to think of just something you're a fan of, and and once they stop like producing. So like me, I'm a huge Colts fan. All right, and so like we had a fairly like new coach. Like I think it's been like 5 years ago or something like that now, but. You know, I was a huge fan of Frank Reich. Like, I mean, he was great. Like, I wanted him. I thought he was going to bring everything, you know. And then, like, you know, I'm like, we're going to go to the Super Bowl. Like, Frank Reich's taking us to the Super Bowl. We got a team. And then, like, you know, it's 5 years down the road, and he's gone. You know, he didn't produce. He didn't do what we wanted him to do. So, you know, Frank Reich is out of my mind now. I don't care where he goes now. I mean, he's not with us. So now we have Jeff Saturday. Huge fan of Jeff Saturday now, I'll tell you that. But especially since we got the win tonight. So when things stop becoming popular, or they stop producing what we want them to do, we kind of just cast them aside, but with Jesus as fans, it's different. Like, there's no expectation set for Jesus. We're supposed to allow him to do what he does, and he's going to come through with what he does. So if you guys can turn to Luke 7, your Bibles. Verse 36, we're going to start it.
Page 858. If you have one of these, it's 858.
Alright, and then what you guys do, I need one person to read first.
What are the verses again?
Luke
Pharisees invited him to eat with him, he entered the Pharisee's house and reclined at the table. And a woman in the town, who was a sinner, found out that Jesus was reclining at the table in the Pharisee's house. She brought an alabaster jar of perfume and stood behind him at his feet, weeping, and began to wash his feet with her tears. She wiped his feet with her hair, kissing them and anointing them with the perfume. When the Pharisee who had invited him saw this, he said to himself, "This man, if he were a prophet, would know who and what kind of woman this is who is touching him. She's a sinner." Jesus replied to him, "Simon, I have something to say to you." He said, "Say it, teacher." A creditor had 2 debtors. One owed 500 denarii and the other 50. Since they could not pay it back, he graciously forgave them both. "So, which of them will love him more?" Simon answered, "I suppose the one he forgave more." "You have judged correctly." Oh wait, I read password. Wait, no, never mind. He told him, turning to the woman, he said to Simon, "Do you see this woman? I entered your house. You gave me no water for my feet, but she, with her tears, has washed my feet and wiped them with her hair. You gave me no kiss, but she hasn't stopped kissing my feet since I came here. You didn't anoint my head with olive oil, but she has anointed my feet with perfume. Therefore, I tell you, her many sins have been forgiven. That's why she loved much. But the one who is forgiven little loves little."
All right, thank you. So, looking in that story, we see there's 3 characters. We got the woman in the house, Jesus, and the Pharisees. All right. So Jesus, of course, he's like our #1 guy. He's got all this attention, you know. And so Pharisees, man, they're like, you look at them, they're famous. Like, I mean, he's invited Jesus to his house. Like, most of the stories around Jesus, there's the Pharisees. It mentions Pharisees around him constantly. They're always following him. They're talking about him. They invited him in his house. They wanted to meet him. But they had the expectations of Jesus being like, "Hey, you can't be around this woman. She's not up to your standard. Like, you can't, we expect you not to associate with people like that. You're only supposed to associate with us. Like, we're better than she is." And then there's the woman, who she's like, that's a follower. Like, as soon as Jesus came in, like, he mentions, like, back then it was custom, like, when someone came into your house, like, Jesus said, like, you gave them a kiss when they came in, and you washed their feet. Like, that was the woman's job. Like, she was that, as a servant, she was to wash the guests' feet as they came into the house. And so she was just doing her job. She came in there, she had no expectation from Jesus. Like, of course, like, she brought out the expensive perfume because she knew, all right, this Jesus guy, he's a special dude. She's heard about him. Like, she's thinking, he's a special guy. She can tell just by him being in there. So she of course brought a little extra attention, but she was just doing her job. And she didn't expect anything from Jesus in return. So, just for a second, I want you guys to turn to someone next to you, and I want you to think, who are you in this story? Would you consider yourself to be a Pharisee or the woman? And I just want you to talk to someone about it next to you for a few minutes, all right? Alright, we'll bring it back in. Hey guys, quiet. Alright, so just to kind of tie into the story, I've got a clip that Xander's going to pull up for me here in a second. but it's from a movie called Facing the Giants. A lot of you guys have probably heard of it, seen it maybe, but it's not what most people think of when they see the movie. But the projector works.
I should be
Clicking.
Yeah.
Thank you, Xander.
I remember the Little Giants. Have you ever seen that?
He shuts doors that no one can open. He says, "Behold, I have placed before you an open door that no one can shut. I know you have a little strength, yet you have kept my word and have not denied my name." Coach Taylor, the Lord is not through with you yet. You still have an open door here. And until the Lord moves you, you're to bloom right where you're planted. I just felt led to come and tell you that today.
Mr. Bridges, you believe God told you to come tell me that?
I do.
I admit to you I have been struggling. But I've also been praying. I just don't see him at work here.
Grant, I heard a story about two farmers who desperately needed rain. And both of them prayed for rain. But only one of them went out and prepared his fields to receive it. Which one do you think trusted God to send the rain?
Well, the one who prepared his fields for him.
Which one are you? God will send the rain when he's ready. You need to prepare your field to receive it.
So I brought this up because the coach in that movie, he kind of goes along with what we've been talking about the past couple of weeks as being a fan, like when it's difficult. Like just a little background about that. Like the coach in that movie at this time, like this is like towards the middle of the movie, I think, right now. But in the start of this movie, it just shows like all these struggles that he's having. Like the football team's doing awful. He's got this like really crappy car that just like keeps breaking down, and like he really just doesn't see any end in sight, and it's just a really rough time for him, and some other stuff that he was going through. But in that time, he was still like he said he was still praying, and like he was still following Jesus. So he was following him through those difficult times, and he was trying to let Jesus do what Jesus did. But he had the expectation of, I'm just going to pray, and Jesus is going to meet the needs that I want. And like it says in Matthew 25, 6:25, therefore I tell you, do not worry about your life, what you will eat or drink, or your body, what you will wear. It is not more than food, and the body more than clothes. So like it said, Jesus is going to meet our needs, but just because like we don't have to worry and we're letting Jesus do what he does, that doesn't mean that we just sit around and do nothing. Like to do that, we gotta put in the work. Like he said in that clip, you have to work that field and you have to prepare it for the rain before, and God's gonna provide that rain no matter what. And so that's what I want to bring that clip in. Can I have? So we're gonna turn to Luke 23 now. All right, and I'll need somebody else to read it. All right, got it. We're going to go 23, verse 36. Yep. Through 43.
Oh. And just as they were telling about it, Jesus himself was suddenly standing there among them. Peace be with you, he said. But the whole group was started.
Wait, what chapter? It's chapter 23.
Oh, oopsies.
Okay.
Sorry. Sure, what?
chapter 23, verse 36 through 43. Right.
There we go. The soldiers mocked him too by offering him a drink of sour wine. They called out to him, "If you're the king of the Jews, save yourself." A sign that was time 10 above him with the words, "This is the king of the Jews." One of the criminals hanging beside him scoffed, "So you are the Messiah, are you? Prove it by saving yourself and us too while you're at it." But the other criminal protested, "Don't you fear God even when you have been sentenced to die? We deserve to die for our crimes, but this man hasn't done anything wrong." Then he said, "Jesus, remember me when you come in your kingdom." And Jesus replied, "I assure you, today you will be with me in paradise."
So in those, like, that's Jesus is on the cross at that point, and there's those two criminals beside him. And one is saying, hey, he's mocking him along with the soldiers, saying, hey, you claim to be the Messiah, so why don't you save yourself and why don't you save me? He's coming at the expectation of, like, Jesus, you're going to save me because this is who you claim to be, so you should do it automatically. All right? And that's exactly what a fan is. Like, they only want what they expect from that person. He wants to, and then the other is, he's the picture of a follower. He's just like, Jesus, I want you to remember me. Just, like, I mean, I'm claiming that you are the Messiah, and I just want you to remember me. I don't have any expectations for this. I just want you to think of me, and that's like, as followers, what we're supposed to do. We're not supposed to come at Jesus with these expectations of what he wants us to do, because a lot of times our expectations of what we want to happen are false. Like, in this, like, they say, when they were mocking him and calling him Messiah and King of the Jews, when Jesus came, so when we look at the story of Jesus, he rides in to Jerusalem on Palm Sunday, okay? So he's coming back to Jerusalem. This is like a week before he gets crucified. And everyone's just like welcoming him. They're throwing these palm branches down. They're coached down for him to go across. And like, it's just a big celebration. But what it was, they expected that Jesus he's gonna come. He claims to be the King of the Jews. He's gonna come. He's gonna set us free from our Roman oppression. And he's gonna rule here on earth. And everything's gonna be fine after that. But once they learn the truth and realize Jesus isn't planning on doing that, like, our expectations are wrong, because that's not what they needed. They didn't need another earthly ruler. They needed someone after who's going to come and save them of their sins to where they can have eternal life, not just this partial life that's good and fun, but something past that that's going to last. And Jesus knew they knew what was better for us, and their expectations were wrong. So when we come at Jesus with these expectations, a lot of times we're going to be disappointed because what we want isn't what's best. And so we have to trust Jesus to do what Jesus is going to do. He's going to know what's best for us, and trusting him and learning to follow him through the times of unknown and not to worry about it. But still going on with what we're supposed to do. Like, we all have just like, we all have a job like the woman. She came to do her job, to serve. And that's what we're called to do too. We're called to serve. And as long as we're serving, Jesus is going to do what he's going to do. And he's going to bring us through those tough times. And he's going to work through that. But we have to prepare the field. We have to keep doing what we're called to do. And what we're, at that moment, and the needs that we have will be met. And so that's what I have for tonight. And so we're going to go into small groups. So small groups, really feel free to grab and tuck it back here.
One more quick announcement. Oh, sorry about that. I'm so sorry, I forgot. So, we prayed for some other people last week who want to pray for us this upcoming week. So, if you guys have prayer requests and have the time to just quick write them on the dry erase board, you've got some friends who are going to pray for those. So, if you guys can maybe look at the dry erase board, put a prayer request on there real quick, on your way out to small group, that would be awesome. Thank you guys. And boys, we're going to be real quick. Just all the boys real quick right here. Guys, fellas, come on over here. Oh, and don't forget your snacks, guys. Guys, boys, come over here real quick. Dexter, come on over here real quick. So, a couple of things we're not going to do later. We'll save that for another day. Just a little bit too hard. So we'll do later. I'll get the laser tag. Don't worry about that. So, you guys, just a sec, write your prayer request on the board. Make sure your leader's got a bottle of snacks. Do your prayer request, you guys, real quick. Next meeting.
I think, Senator.
Absolutely.